Hello, everybody. Welcome. Oh, I don't know if my. Oh no, that seems fine. Let me know if I'm like coming in a little too hot here. I'm still kind of getting used to this audio setup. It is also a temporary one. We will be replacing it at some point in the future. Oh, that's distracting. I have a reflection of the screen on the screen. That's cool. We're getting there. The room has gotten a lot less box filled. I think actually if there's any reason that I couldn't give you I'm gonna run the camera around real quick. Let's give you guys a tour. This is a corner with a whole bunch of books, some board games, some music instruments, a window, a bunch of our I'm like turning the thing. I'm like, why is it tilting so much? Got another set of shelves that used to live right here behind my head is now up. And so that is going to be filled with stuff. An AC at long last. Ooh, why did the color just what the hell? Oh god, because this thing is trying to white balance still. Oh fuck's sake. Got another one over there. We got a whole pile of stuff that has not been sorted yet over there, including some like shelf stuff. We have a whole wall of games over there. And then we come around to the TV setup over here. So yeah, got a lot of, and then there we go, a nice horrifying blown out image there. Let me just, there we go, put that back together there. Except if I do that, then when I look at the chat, I'm looking in the wrong direction. Isn't technology awesome? I should really like just flip the thing. See, this way I can look at myself. I'm looking at me right now, but it looks like I'm looking over at the chat. Yes, the Mannequin is just to the side of this this bookshelf right here, the shelves that are directly behind me. But yeah, it's coming along. I think I'm down to 6 cardboard boxes left out of probably like 60 when we first put stuff down here. It was like at 16 maybe 3-4 days ago. I got into a big unpacking kick. So that's been going pretty well, but we're getting there. And I think the sign, Sarah was talking about it, the sign, the old D-pad neon, the old, as if I've had it forever. I've only had it for, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 at most, I think. But the D-pad neon sign that Sarah got for me, I think we're going to be putting on the wall right here behind me. We're kind of figuring it out. It's like everything is so close together in our current layout. Like this, like I have more space between this and there's a whole other room over there that is still being figured out. And ultimately, I may wind up doing streaming in there too. I'm still kind of figuring out how I want to lay that stuff out. But right now, the setup, for convenience sake, is a little bit condensed. And so most of the time, I don't have this much headroom in my shot. I'll usually have it like box into about here, into about, here-ish, something like that. So you usually can't see too much behind me, but excuse me. In the future, I would like to have a little bit more visible behind me in general. I think it would be a nice look, but for the time being, just to be able to get the sign back in there, right over here behind me might be the case, and then further down the wall if we're doing stuff that is for like Extra Life or something. Which Extra Life I think is still the first weekend of November this coming year, so keep an eye out for that. I had a couple ideas for it. Nothing set in stone. I've actually got next year's one pretty much figured out, which should be an interesting, if grueling time. I think I've also got next year's anniversary stream figured out as well. I told folks ahead of time that, like, hey, 2025 in particular, I think I'm going to be claiming both the anniversary stream and the Extra Life stream as specific events I want to do. So going to be seeing over the winter if that first one's going to happen. It's really going to, it also depends on stuff that's outside my control entirely. I'm waiting on some progress on something that exists outside my sphere entirely. So we'll see how that one goes. The other one I can definitely do. It's just a matter of like prepping for it. So, but yeah, welcome to the Patreon Hangout for those of you guys that are in here right now, as well as anybody who's watching the VOD later. if you want to join in on this on another time. We got where's my hand? There it is. Right there. Patreon.com/dpatfm. You can find out more there. We've been in the midst of changing our tiers over. I'm not going to they give you an option to delete a tier even if there's people in it, but I'm really worried that doing that is going to take away people's rewards for things. So I'm just leaving them until people vacate them over time. I'm not going to lose any sleep over someone being in the $4 tier. At this point, it's all grandfathered in. If you're in the $4 tier, that's the $4, $9. The $4 and $9 tiers have been replaced with a $5 and $10 tier with different rewards. And the two higher tiers than that, essentially the $20 and $50 tiers, just don't exist at all anymore. There are still people in all four of those tiers. As soon as there's none in some of them, then they'll go away. But for the time being, those exist. You can't join them now. There's no way to do that. I believe you can put in whatever dollar amount you want and then apply a tier based off of that. But that's its own whole thing. I guess at the top of this is I had mentioned earlier that so between the last Hangout and this one, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of the actual video series, weirdly enough. But so we'll get more into the business side of things, I guess. During a recording, which should be going up this coming week, we had our final. Actually, you know what? I'll do the camera one more time, and I'll show you. That is our audio thing that I'm using right now, and underneath it is the dead one that we are no longer using. It's a little dark, so it's kind of hard to see, but the old Focusrite Sapphire Pro 40 is dead after at least 13 years of at least 11 years of use. I don't know how long John was using it before we started using it for the channel, but we started using it in 2013. I think we started using. I think literally the first time we used it was for the first Zelda episode. I think. So it would have been almost 13 years. It just barely didn't make it. It literally won't even turn on anymore. It's totally possible that it is repairable, but given the issues we've had with it over the years and given how old the tech is and all that, it is far better to put that energy into different and new tech and replacing it. So they don't even make the Sapphire line anymore, but they replaced it with one called the Scarlet line, which seems to be functionally the same. It's much more updated tech. I think I previously showed off on a stream the dongle, the double dongle. There's a thing that goes into here, and then these are two separate dongles. Because we actually only needed one on the MacBook we originally were doing all of our audio with, and then that MacBook got replaced. But nowadays, MacBooks literally only have USB-C, so we needed to get a USB-C dongle as well. So we had that ugly-ass thing that caught on every single surface possible. The good news is this one that we're using right now just uses USB-C to USB-C. And I'm moderately sure, if I look it up right now, I can actually probably find this out. Let's see. So there are two that I'm kind of eyeballing right now. One of them is the Scarlett 18i8. They haven't, for whatever reason, so their current gen of tech is 4th gen, and basically nothing that does more than 2 XLRs is in their current gen of tech. So I'm a little worried that the Scarlett is also about to get replaced. They do have another line called, oh my god, what is it called? If I can find it, then the Claret, I believe, is one that does still have, their 4th gen just is for one or two. It seems to be for streamers and for small setups. So the 18i8, let's see. I see line outputs. I see MIDI out. I do see a USB-C. So that one might just be USB-C, which would be great because That would simplify things a lot. It's very easy to use USB-C drivers. Hello, nobody. Hello, hello. But yeah, so that's something that I'm working on replacing. I think I'm going to be trying to make a push over the next month to try to get our Patreon all juiced up. I might be trying to get some merch going, all these things. Because right now the MixPre 6 that I'm using is a loaner. I borrowed it. Evil Hippie has a friend who does a lot of audio, like high-tech audio stuff, and he has a spare. Well, not even a spare. He's got one that he's not using currently for a little bit. So I'm trying to make sure to not be an imposition to someone else's job or anything like that. So I want to make sure that we can replace this as soon as we possibly can. The 18i8 is the one that is the not even necessarily short term. It would probably suffice for basically everything, but there is a version of this. If I can find the name of this one, let's see here. Because they have another one that is the Scarlett 18i20. So the numbers are inputs, outputs. The 18i8 has 18 inputs, but it's like a MIDI input, 4 line ins, 4 XLRs, yada yada. The 18i20 has... do I have that backwards? No, I think that's right. The 18i20, similar to the one that I have here, has 8 XLR inputs, which usually we don't have more than 4 people on mic, but sometimes we do. And ultimately, that'll be the one that I want to get our hands on, so that we can make sure that we're never going I guess 2 people are on the same mic today. So that's kind of our number one target right now in terms of new tech. And then we'll be able to fully, replace all of that stuff. But yeah, we have an 8 mic. XLR is a microphone, is a mic cable type, I guess you could say. It's the actual plug part of it. Our old soundboard, our old audio interface, could do 8 microphones. The one we're currently using as a temp and the one that I'm looking into as a short-term solution both do 4, but sometimes we have more than 4 people. So there's a version that they have that does up to 8 XLR microphones, which are what these guys are. And so that's kind of the long-term goal is to have that as a thing there. So that's where that's at. One of these days I'm getting a new, webcam situation, either a better webcam or just a thing that I can mount the 4K camera onto so we can get a better quality here. Because even right now, if you look right here, you can actually see all the visual noise. Look right here. Look at those pixels dancing around. That's a bummer. It's not incredibly bright in here, but it's also hot, so I really don't want to be blasting myself with light if I can avoid it, but it'd be nice to avoid that. Also, this fucking webcam keeps turning on its white balance, which is very annoying when I'm trying to specifically go for sharp, vivid colors for things. It's extremely irritating. So I would like to replace that at some point too. There's also other stuff like the monitor. I literally just put the double wide monitor out in the garage to get recycled at some point in the near future, because Samsung is not going to replace it. They're not going to repair it. It's just gone, just sunk cost on that. And it's all right, then I'm not going to hang on to this. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to get rid of a thing I'm not going to use and clean up some space. I may do the same thing with some of our old Retrons and Hauppauges too, because a bunch of the Retrons straight up don't work anymore. One of them, during I think the 9th or 10th anniversary stream, we straight up fried. We plugged in the wrong thing into the back of it, and it did the old magic smoke trick. So that wasn't... You're right. It's not always super obvious, and especially if you're watching this in less than 1080p, it may also get blurred and blended together by the video codec, so it's not as obvious. But once you see it, it's just oh god, I can't stop looking. I'm literally looking at it right now. I can't. It drives me nuts. But yeah, so that's where all of that stuff is at. And yeah, so we'll see where things. Oops, sorry. Oh god. Oh no, that's muted. Good. I had 2 or 3 YouTube videos that I had in my tabs, and I was like, oh, this will be fun to watch later, and I accidentally tabbed over one of them. Fortunately, my YouTube thing is muted at the moment, so no issues there. There we go. We can pull up that and that. Perfect. Dead Pixel on the Steam Deck screen. Oh no. Oh, that's always a fun one, especially on like it's such an expensive piece of hardware too. I'd say that's always rough because it's just like it takes a conscious effort to like look away from it sometimes. I guess I will go down. Like I mentioned before at the top, there's not a ton to talk about in terms of actual like videos, at least our Let's Plays. I guess the streams we got stuff to talk about, but I'll run down our list real quick and we'll see what we got here. Legendary Let's Play Reawakens. We got Marvelous. We have a little bit more. I think we have 2 videos that have been recorded that haven't gone up as of today. And they are it's either 2 or 3, but we are finishing off the second island, actually, by the end of this recording. We're quite close on that front. We also, I think we're on track to be able to finish the whole game in time for Echoes of Wisdom, I think. It's looking pretty good right now. It's going to be close. If it feels like we're really scraping to like get it done fast, then maybe we'll do some like weekend episodes or something. I don't know yet, but we're gonna see how that goes, and we'll take it from there. But also rapidly putting the today's Sonic video up because I forgot to upload it before I left this room before getting the stream like up and running. So oops on that. Pocket Poly might have been added by fan translators. I guess that's true. That's a fair point. Yeah, you're always kind of at the mercy of whoever decided to do the fan translation if they're going to do an accurate job or not, which like not in the sense of like, oh man, localizers suck, which is the fucking thing going on out in the world right now, but like more in the sense of just like there are definitely folks who are like, okay, I can do a fan translation and I'll add a couple of my own little things there because why the hell not? It's a video game that almost nobody's ever heard of outside of Japan. So I don't know. I think it was also a much more common thing, 10, 20 years ago too. It was promoted Nintendo Power. Yeah, I want to say, if memory serves, it got swept up in the late Super Nintendo no translation box because at the time they were really, really, really trying to get the N64 in people's heads, and they didn't want to spend the money and the time, the resources on translating, especially for genres that they weren't sure were going to sell well in the U.S. At the time, RPGs and like traditional RPGs and action RPGs mostly were still kind of an awkward genre in the U.S. They sold not amazingly well. Final Fantasy being one of the main exceptions to that. And that's the thing. Yeah, it's not even so much like it's got like RPG elements. You got health, you have items you pick up and stuff. But yeah, it is also a heavily text and graphics based game. There may have been large chunks that were like we would have to redraw a bunch of things to make this make sense. And also translating from Japanese to English either meant creatively removing text to whittle it down since Japanese uses so much less space, or sometimes running up against the size limit of the cartridge because English was taking up that much, especially in such a text-heavy game. So that's kind of where that's at with that. But there. But yeah, Marvel's is coming along. I'm enjoying it pretty greatly. The music is awesome. I really like that. The music is so dynamic. You kind of hear the same one or two tracks a lot for large chunks of it, but then as soon as we hang out with Benson, we got like 2 or 3 more music tracks over the course of like that episode, and then there's another, and then we get even more audio tracks as we go. We're gonna have another like 5 or 6 audio tracks by the time we're done with this chapter. They really went all out for it. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to where the rest of it goes. I'm looking forward to Echoes of Wisdom as well. I'm expecting we'll be playing that on launch day. And it looks like it should be fun. I mean, pretty good time. I think that's the only Zelda-related thing going on. Pokemon. Brilliant Diamond postgame continues. We've reached the base of Stark Mountain. I was debating what order I wanted to do things in from here. Like, I might fight Buck and then go do other stuff, because, like, I think I don't know if it was on mic or not, but I was talking with Peter about it, and at this point, I think I'm at and above the levels of the gym leaders for the rematches. I am pretty close to the level. I might even be above the levels that the Elite Four is going to have for its first rematch. And then, it's not even a fight. Hilarious. And then there's also, I did want to go back and do the Battle Tower as well. I know you don't get experience for that, but I wanted to go back and do the two towers just to get the final fight for each of those. And then there's the matter of, like, there are 2 more Pokemon that are available for me to catch that I'm like, it might be interested. Like, 2 more special Pokemon to go and catch. And I was like, do I want to do that before I get into the... So, like, what I might do, because technically the way Stark Mountain is supposed to work is you already do your rematches, and then you go to Stark Mountain, and then after that, the Elite Four levels up again. You essentially get, like, the big version of them, as opposed to the kind of medium version that you get normally. Yeah, I'd be satisfied with just seeing them once. I think 21 was it was either 21 or was it 40 or 50? I think it was 49, because it was because they're in sets of 7. 3 sets of 7 lets you see it, and then 7. And, like, it might be, I don't know if Peter's coming this weekend for recording. I don't know that Jeff is either. So, like, it might be a weekend where there's some solo recording. And if that's the case, it's easy enough to go and do some Battle Tower stuff and grind some of that out there too. I don't mind so much if I lose to him. I just want to get to him and be able to say, like, all right, there we go, we got to him. If I lose to him, that's fine. The Battle Towers are not part of the Nuzlocke. They never have been, so we're just going to let that one do its thing. The usual rule of thumb is if a battle does not get you experience, then you also cannot lose Pokemon to that battle either. But yeah, I at least want to see them. It's just an interesting little thing that's there to check out. We have a bonus fight that is there as well. Then they have the Frontier Brain music. I thought I had read something about that being the case, but I would have to double check. Or did they might have put a new track in altogether. I don't remember. But the list is getting pretty small. Actually, let me pull up the list. What do I have here? Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3 Pokemon that I can go and mess with right now, not including Arceus. I have 1 special fight that I can do. There's also another Pokemon in special fight on Stark Mountain. There's the Battle Towers, and there's the rematches. And that's everything. So, like, yeah, we're kind of winding it down at this point. I think when I talked to Peter about it, we were trying to come up with an estimate, and I think we're down to about 3 weeks of stuff left, and that's going to mostly depend on the pace we take through the rematch fights, because they could take longer. They might be a longer thing. Honestly, the rematch fights will probably take about 3 weeks altogether. So we're probably more like 4 weeks ultimately. I think we will be done with this before the end of August. I think we'll be done with Brilliant Diamond. I'm currently doing some more digging with Insurgents. I literally this past week took some time on one afternoon and started verifying and double checking as many stats as I could of the surviving Pokemon. I forgot I actually had 2 that survived. I knew was it Kevorkian, my Scizor, survived because he was the one that was standing out front for the final hit. I forgot that Sierpinski also lived. I have a regular Blastoise named Sierpinski who also survived that battle. My other 4 didn't, including Tennyson, my armored Flygon, which was heart-rending. But we got 2 there, and we have a nearly full box of other Pokemon. And we still have not tripped the game's built-in Nuzlocke lose condition, which is whiting out. We still have not whited out once in Pokemon Insurgents on hard mode, even. Or harder mode, or whatever the fuck it was. I know one of the episodes is called harder mode, and that's the one where I get wrecked by the Moody Smeargle. But whatever difficulty it was. So I have an executable file modifier thing that I'm planning to use to essentially mimic as closely as possible the way that the run ultimately went. There's a lot of steps that are going to be involved to be sure that I can get that to work. I'm trying to avoid just replaying the game, and even the way that I have to edit it might involve just replaying the game, but going like, oh, I'm going to set my level to 100 for right now, so there's no chance that I lose as I steamroll the 2/3 of the game and then correct all of my experience points and levels and things. Yeah, so I don't know. If I'm very smart about it, then I can probably find a way to sneakily do a modification in the final battle that we did for those videos to just set my opponent's hit points to 1 and then release them, and then just kind of quickly finish the battle. Because that would make life a lot easier for sure. Especially if I have targeted, like, okay, here's Kevorkian's health, here's this one's health. I can set them to like 99,000 or whatever, and then right as the battle ends, I can set them to the health that they were supposed to have or something. But it's gonna be tricky. I still am looking through old like laptops and stuff to see if just by some sheer magic coincidence the data still exists somewhere. Because if that's the case, I don't have to worry about anything. The biggest thing I'd have to worry about is what is meant to happen in the cutscene immediately following the defeat of the cultist that had the legendary dragons. That would be like the one thing that I would like not be 100% sure on, but so yeah, so Pokemon's in a pretty good spot there. We're gonna be done with that soon, and I'm talking with John, planning out the next padlock, because we're gonna keep on moving. We're not gonna have another new Pokemon game this year, so it's as good a time as any to finally dive in on Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So you can expect that to be coming near the end of the year. It'll be pretty good. Let's see. No updates on Mega Man, kind of in general, actually. Actually, sorry. So, same thing with Crown Tundra, no updates there. Mega Man, no updates right now. We're probably not going to be getting the post game for Star Force 3 started until the start of September. Jeff is going to be out in Indiana for a little while for the month of August, and I was debating, and I was like, oh, maybe we can do like a remote thing for that. And it's like I can already tell when me and CJ do it that some of the like natural pacing of it isn't there. So I think I'd rather, especially with how much we kind of vamp the dialogue and stuff, I think I would rather that we just wait, and then when he comes back, we can get into that, and then Star Force will be complete. It's so weird. I keep hoping that they announce a Star Force 4. I keep hoping. We're already kind of watching and waiting for more announcements on Kingdom Hearts as we're doing all this stuff, but regardless. Mega Man Daily content is going to be coming back at some point. I'm working on a huge thing. I've talked about this 100 times. No new news there at the moment. Sonic Superstars. We're very close. So we finished recording Sonic Superstars in its entirety, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe something like that. We finished recording it right after the first episode went live. We finished the entire thing. There's quite a bit left. We will have videos going for that more or less until this time next month. So allegedly the Mega Man 11 team was the Star Force team. So like, here's hoping, but the post game weren't any better for Sonic Superstars. In some ways, yes, and in other ways, no. Uh, in particular, the game mode that you play is as oh boy, as untested as multiplayer Sonic Superstars feels, which is shocking because they would not stop advertising it as being like a multiplayer experience. As unplay tested as the multiplayer story mode feels, the mode that they follow that up with feels somehow less play tested, if you can believe it. Extremely awkward to play, and much more bullshit on some of the bosses too. So you'll be seeing how that goes this coming week. I believe, if I had to take a guess, I think Wednesday will wind up being the start of that mode, assuming that there's no days that get skipped. It's rough. It's a rough time for sure. Perfect Sonic Cycle game. Yeah, it's... Man. Superstars, the first game he 100% regrets even buying. Yeah, it really doesn't capture the vibes of Sonic Mania like at all. If anything, I really would love for there to be a Sonic Mania. Like, I would love for someone to remake Sonic Superstars in the Sonic Mania engine. Just like make a mod for it. There we go. Because I think I would have more fun playing it like that than I would replay it. I had my hot take not super recently, but at some point, which was in some ways I think Sonic Superstars is actually a worse game than Sonic Forces. And the main reason for that, even though Sonic Forces is by and large just an embarrassing time, and Sonic Superstars does have elements that are significantly better, like the music of Sonic Superstars is great, pretty much top to bottom. It's really good stuff. I find if I had to play another Sonic, if I had to play one of the two, I think I would rather play Sonic Forces. Weirdly enough, if I had to play one again, I think I would rather play Sonic Forces, which is like mind-blowing to me to say, because I did not like Sonic Forces. Especially the was it Act Shadow or whatever it was like, oh, here, have 3 not great levels, and then that's the entire DLC, and I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. Oh my god. Hang on a second here. Oh, I'm realizing I did something very dumb earlier. Just fixing it very quickly. Here we go. Just fixing this up so that I can have that. Cool. Yeah, so that one's where that's at. But yeah, Sonic 06. And Sonic 06 was the one that that was that game for me. Sonic 06 was the one that got me to stop playing Sonic for kind of a while. I really was not okay with that one, and I was like, I think I'm just done with it. I think I'm just gonna give it some time. And I don't think I played any new Sonic games after that until Sonic Generations for the channel was literally the next new Sonic game that I played. And I was like, oh god, that's such a fucking bummer. There we go. 100% of both Shadow and Sonic 06. Yeah, Stick. Yeah, man. Hopefully it gets played on a non-Switch console at the least. Yeah, it'd probably be a smoother version. It'd probably have better load times. We actually specifically did not update the game after we started playing, because at that point it became an exercise in like, okay, what was the version of this game that shipped? Like, what the hell actually shipped to stores and digitally, like, now I need to know with how bad everything else was with it. It's like, I just need to know what the fuck was going on. So, or I guess the levels seem like they might be decent if you didn't have to play King of the Hill. Yeah. Oh, King of the Game. Yeah. The King of Game situation is like terrible there. And I saw someone comment, it's like, oh, it's just whoever's going to the right. And it's like, the video for today literally has a point where all of us are standing still, and like Sarah kind of bounced off something and went left, and it followed her back to the left, like backwards through the level. And it's like, okay, so is it just whoever's moving the most? Like, I don't really understand, but yeah, it's rough times there. As for Sonic Weekathon, I think we'll be getting back into that on Tuesday. It's just been like a lot. There's been a lot of streaming, and like it's sort of irritating in some ways that like Sonic Rush is going to be an easy one. That's going to be like arguably easier than Sonic Advance in terms of getting that done. Sonic Rush Adventure is going to be a lot denser, but it's ultimately fairly straightforward. It's just a little bit more tedious. Like, it's just like, man, yeah, there's a lot of streams going on, and I would feel pretty bad because normally when I do Sonic Weekathon, it replaces my streams, but the timing of it wound up being immediately after Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm like, I just told everybody that I wasn't going to delay Persona and Smash again. And then we had technical problems literally like 3 Fridays in a row, so we didn't even get to start Smash until last week. But I was just like, man, it's just been a lot. And Mondays are also the Ocarina thing that I had signed up for like months ago, like 6 months ago. We were planning that out, and the timing has just been rough. So yeah, multiplayer high speed gameplay. Yeah, they just didn't bother testing it at all. It also got weird with Shadow of the Erdtree. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. Like if Dave and Jeff were both not like planning on streaming stuff, I probably could have made some adjustments that would have made it work a little better. But also Elden Ring, big content. I want to make sure that that's getting out there. And you know, I know Jeff is trying to like he's like excited to get his Nintendo runs going again. So I want to make sure that he's got space to get that done too. There's just like a lot. Yeah, I agree. I do need nights off. And like, I wish that both Persona and Brawl were like further along, because at least then I could be like, all right, I'm just gonna wait until those are done, and then I'm gonna do the rest of Sonic Week, and then we'll be good. It's like, it just feels it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be we're gonna be at it for both of those for at least a couple more months. So we'll figure it out. I don't want to just like shadow drop out of the sky, be like, oh hey, surprise guys, we're doing Sonic Rush in 1 hour, get ready. But ultimately, I mean, the VODs will happen too, so like it's not the end of the world if yeah, right, yeah, I beat the final boss of Persona 4, totally definitely. I love how, like, not like the game is like trying to psych me out, but it definitely is one where it's like, hey, even the music choices are like you know, making it very clear. It's like, you're not done yet. Come on, you got stuff to do still. Yeah, hilariously, I got stuck in the Ocarina streams for about 9 hours. I was BK'd, and when we come back, I think I'm back to having exactly one check, which is the treasure game. We're not doing it this Monday, by the way. We have a Sonic Shuffle Madness on Monday, but the week after we're back to it, and I think I've got literally one check before I'm BK'd again. And I've never, I guess BKing really only happens in multi-world. I guess that's not entirely true, because you can do that in, combo randomizers too, if you play it that way. Like, so we had the Link to the Past Super Metroid one, and that one you can kind of get BK'd on one side of that equation, but yeah. So BKing means Burger King-ing, and the lore, I don't know how true this is, but the lore around it is that someone doing a multi-world randomizer stream was made essentially completely incapable of progressing in their game. They did not have items that allowed them to get any further or make any more checks for anybody else at all. So they were just kind of like, well, I can't do anything. And they waited for a bit, and eventually they realized that they're like, oh, I guess I'm gonna I'm just going to go get some Burger King. And so they left, got Burger King, came back and sat down and ate their food, and they still were not able to progress any further. So, yeah, what I mean by the combo randomizer is like there could be a situation where, for example, I could be playing Link to the Past and I could have no means of doing anything else in A Link to the Past, but then going over to Super Metroid, whether it's me or somebody else, like whether it's Jeff or another player, whatever, like, oh, because now there's items over there that will unblock things in A Link to the Past. It's not really the same thing because it's all one game that's being played, but it's a similar idea. But yeah, no, I've been 9 hours. There was a brief moment where I think I got it wasn't the iron boots. I got an item that I was able to use for less than 15 minutes before I was blocked again. And I think with this last unblock, I got about like half an hour or so of life out of it. I got the iron boots and the hover boots. And I think I got one more thing in there too. I forget what it was, but I was able to start the Shadow Temple, but I don't have the key ring for it, so I can't actually go further. If I have the key ring, I can finish the Shadow Temple. I think there's silver rupees that I even have. So as soon as I have the key ring for the Shadow Temple, I can completely clear it. A fiery strawberry sprite? Oof. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I literally, there's a name for it when you, I guess, unlocking, but we skipped through stuff by damage boosting through fire that we weren't supposed to in order to get someone else's hover boots, I think. I think it was, I got Shad his hover boots or something. I would have to go back and check, but yeah, interesting time there for sure. I was also, I'm so bummed I didn't think of it sooner. I was asking the guys, I was like, hey, do you guys mind if I use your footage for like a more intensely edited, I guess it is sequence breaking, yeah, a more intensely edited version of this as a VOD, and everyone was cool with it, except like I think two of them weren't even saving their runs at all, either as highlights or VODs or anything for YouTube, and it was like, oh, okay, so I don't think I will do it at this point, just because it's like, all right, or maybe I'll just download them anyway and do what I can with it, but it's just like, you know, not having them for the first like 2 or 3 of those does kind of take a little bit of the creative liberties out of the equation, because it'd be nice to be able to point and go, all right, well, I'm doing this, here's the other thing that's happening. But this would have been for an edit of this that'd be coming way down the line. This is not something I would be doing in the immediate future. This would be like God, there was some other project that I was kind of working on already that I wanted to put ahead of that regardless. But anyway, I just want, like, my concern was mostly over the fact that we've got 3 streams in a row where I almost can't do anything. And I'm like, that's hard to make entertaining. There's got to be something I can do to make those a little more entertaining. And like, I could try editing them down or something. I was honestly debating doing a version of it as like, I don't know, think of like an Alpha Rad video or something where it's like, hey, I checked out this game, and it's like a hyper edited down version of the entire experience or something. But yeah. I can say with a fair degree of certainty that I am not missing anything. I've got my guesses, but I also don't want to throw anyone under the bus, especially if I'm wrong, because then I'm an asshole. But yeah, no, my tracker, according to my tracker, there is literally the one thing I can do right now, and that's it. Start another personal randomizer in the meantime. That would be kind of hilarious. If I was able to have 2 copies of the tracker open without risking one of them going wrong, I would almost consider it just for the hell of it. I wanted to do a Link's Awakening randomizer at some point. I honestly probably could have gotten through a good chunk, if not all, of a Link's Awakening randomizer in the time I've been BK'd for Ocarina. So I don't know. We'll have to save that for another time, I think. Other stuff. Resident Evil 4, Separate Ways. I've been bad at getting videos out, but we do have a bunch of those. I think we're down to the last chapter and a half. somewhere around there. So about 2/3 of the way through. I think CJ and I are going to be doing some more recording for that this weekend. I gotta figure that one out. Kingdom Hearts Key may be something that we do record remotely with Jeff, just to try to get that one over the finish line. We're like halfway through, I think. Unchained Key. We're about halfway through it, and I would really like to get it done. But Sneak King. Oh, that's funny. I do actually own Sneak King. Whoop. Yeah, I can see it. I wonder if I can take a picture from here and then. Oh, there's a terrible picture. Holy shit. Let's see. It's extremely low quality. But that right there is Sneak King. So yes, I do have that. It would actually be, honestly, maybe I'll just do that at the, I don't even think that game has an ending. I'm pretty sure that game you just wander around and do shit and eventually you just get bored and stop playing. Maybe I'll do a one-off stream of that when Ocarina's over. We actually have something we're thinking about doing as a one-off stream. The four of us when things are done, but we'll see. Burger Crown, make him watch Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I think for a fun one there too. Let's see. I think that's actually it for recording news. As for streams, CJ has been doing his Let's Rip and Tear series of 90-minute nails, 90-minute segments of id Software titles. He's I don't know how far into Heretic he is at the moment. I have really not played almost any of them. I know a little bit about a bunch of them, but I haven't played any of them. So even looking at it, I would have no idea how far along he is. But those have been going every Sunday right now. I think whenever the multiplayer Sunday Crew streams come back, they'll go back to alternating. But for right now, CJ seems pretty comfortable just doing every week. Felice, same thing too. They're playing Cult of the Lamb. And that's been a pretty cool time there as well. Those should be going up. Both of those should be going up sometime in the next week or two. CJ had something he wanted to put together before stuff goes up, so I want to make sure that comes out nice. And it would feel weird to be putting up the Cult of the Lamb ones that are happening intermittently in between those things. Before Heretic. I don't even know. I'll have to talk with CJ because I don't know if the plan. I'll talk with CJ and Felice because I don't know if the plan is for Cult of the Lamb to also be part of Let's Rip and Tear, or if that's just gonna be its own kind of side thing, or what. I've been doing the Ocarina Multi-World randomizer. We talked about that already. It's not really easy to. I did throw a thing out to there. I did not hear back, unfortunately. I think the two of them are like super busy during the week and even on the weekends. Usually like Friday and Saturdays are busy for both of them. So I don't think we're going to be likely seeing either of them with stuff for tonight, sadly. Let me just double check on that in case there was an update there. No, I don't even know. I'm not even sure if they've seen the message that I sent to them about this thus far. What else? I mentioned Ocarina. We still have a long ways to go, but once things get unstuck, we should probably be making pretty rapid progress through the game from there. Tuesdays have been Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. Likewise, I have no idea how far along Dave is on that. I don't know if Dave knows how far along Dave is on that. I've heard it's very difficult. Sarah's also been picking Elden Ring back up to play through New Game Plus to get to the DLC area. Challenging game. Though on New Game Plus, it sounds like it hasn't been too bad. It's been a little steamrolly at the start, so that's hopefully gonna save them a little bit of time on getting through it quickly. Wednesdays, I've been doing Persona 4 Golden. We're now into the end of July, early April, which is, hey, where we are right now. More VODs for that will be going up over the weekend and into the start of next week. We have a pile of VODs, and I'm kind of sifting through them right now. Nothing's been lost everything has been retained, so we don't have to worry about that. I was thinking about doing another FromSoft game sometime next year, not for Sonic Weekathon, but I was thinking about doing it regardless. But yeah, Persona, we're probably at the if I had to guess, like, I don't know, half to 2/3 mark, somewhere around there. Probably around like 55, maybe 60%. It's been going well. I've been enjoying it. The only reason I'm like wondering if we're further along than I think is just going off the levels at this point. And like, I know I'm under leveled and we're getting pretty high level stuff started. So I don't know. We haven't gotten like a lot of our third level skills and things though. So we still probably have a good amount of time too. Oh, nice. I didn't even know the game had... Oh, co-op as in, like, one of you summons the other two, and then you kind of run through it that way. Thursdays, Jeff hasn't started yet, but he is going to be resuming into Way of the Ninja. He's got some new bingo strats. Should make for an interesting time. We'll be curious to see how his speedrun time improves. It sounds like it's almost certainly going to improve his time by a good chunk. The real question is going to be whether it pulls him into second or not. I don't know enough about it into myself, but Jeff will definitely have a lot more to talk about with that. And I believe he is starting with that next week, so that should be next Thursday. Is that the 1st of August? I think. Clicking over on that, like that's going to help me. Yeah, I think it's the 1st of August, so that should be a pretty good one there. And Fridays, except for Patreon Fridays, we're finally back into Brawl. We got through about half of the classic mode runs that we need to do. Going to get the other half done next Friday. And then we're done with classic mode. There are no other challenges with classic mode at this point other than just do them with everybody. That's going to be it's going to be the more irritating part of these early Brawl streams, is that there's going to be a lot of tedium, and then stuff is going to start picking up after that. So we're probably going to, the first literally like 5 or 6 streams are mostly going to be everybody does blank. So yeah. If I check I'm trying to remember. I think are there 37 fighters in Brawl? I keep forgetting the number. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I have 22 runs left before I'm done with that. And that's assuming, because I think you have to do Zelda and Sheik as 2 separate runs. Whereas the Pokemon Trainer, you have to do 3, one that ends with each of the, I think it's literally the last hit is all that matters. One with each of the 3 Pokemon. And then Pokemon Trainer you get as a trophy the first time you win with any of the 3 of them. But yeah, so 22 left of those. So that's going to be probably the entirety of the next stream. There might be a little time left over if we start on the earlier side, at which point I'm probably going to do like home run contest or target smash or something, because there's less of that to do. Samus, Zelda, and Pokemon Trainer make it, yeah. And last time we did do both Samus runs, so we'll do the same thing with Zelda and Sheik. Yeah, so that's where that's at, and I think that's it for streams. The next stream, as you can see down below, is going to be on August 30th, right near the end of the month. And I don't think there's any major events coming up between now and then in terms of like, because like November, so we'll wind up doing the end of October, somewhere in the vicinity of Halloween, we're going to have our October Hangout, and then the weekend after that is going to wind up being Extra Life for this year. Like, I don't think we have anything that size before Extra Life. We have 1 or 2 things that we're planning to put out there before we get there, but they are still in the works / top secret. But that's going to be it for that. So we're already a little bit late getting out of here to go off to our community night for this month, which is we're watching the first 8 episodes of Digimon Digital Monsters / Digimon Adventure, whichever one you prefer. It seems like in a similar vein to the whole Knack and Fang thing, that nowadays people really don't refer to Digimon in the West by the name that it got given in the West, which is just Digimon Digital Monsters. But so yeah, Digimon Adventure parentheses 1999 to delineate it from Digimon Adventure : from 2020, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna roll out of here. We're gonna get that set up, and then we should be getting started pretty shortly. I want to say, hopefully in the next like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll be good to start with that. So thank you guys very much for hanging out. Thank you for anybody who's watching the VOD later. Again, you can head to patreon.com/dpadfm if you want to see some more details on that. We also have a store, dpad. Oh God, is it dpad.store? Oh no. I literally, oh my God. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go check this real quick, except I won't because my computer is stalling out right now. That's really good. That's very good. My browser just doesn't want to work on the MacBook, so maybe I won't find out. Maybe we won't find out. That's cool. That's fun. I'm glad that that's how this is working. It's my favorite. Oh, there we go. Now it works as soon as I... Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway. Oh, you know why? I clicked it literally as it was changing over to dark mode, and it like freaked the fuck out. Let's see. Let's see if this works. We have a few of them. Yeah, dpad.store will work. Great. What a great closer there. Great. I'm going to get out of here. We'll see you guys in a minute, and bye.